bow down prostrate. You are the only one worthy of praise.
They actually lived in Kufa. Then after that, Imam Abu Hanifa lived for 6 years in Mecca. And according to the strongest opinion, he did about 15 Hajjs. So he would learn, they would go for Hajj and they would seek knowledge. And he would teach and he would seek knowledge. And then after Hamad passed away, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah started his halqa in Kufa. And they mentioned after a very short time, his halqa became the largest in Kufa. There was no halqa in Kufa which was as big as Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah. Abdullah ibn Mubarak says, when I came to Kufa, I asked the people of Kufa, who is the greatest faqih of Kufa? They said, Abu Hanifa. I said, who is the greatest Zahir? The man who stays away from the dunya the most. They said, Abu Hanifa. Ibn Shaykh mentions, I was walking one day with Imam Abu Hanifa, and there was a man coming, and when he saw Imam Abu Hanifa, he took the other path. And Imam Abu Hanifa called him, and he said, why did you take the other path when you saw me? He said, you know, Imam, you know I owe you 10,000 dirhams. And I've come across hard times. And I'm embarrassed to see you. And Imam Abu Hanifa said, has it come to this? That you see me and you take another path? He said, bear witness, I have forgiven you. And Ibn Shaqiq mentions, on that occasion, I realized that this man was a true Zahid. Imam Abu Hanifa was very rich, but he spent everything in the path of Allah until the narrations mention that his students entered his house and there was only one mattress there. And then later on in his life, he made the money again. Abdullah ibn Mubarak says, when I came to Kufa, I asked the people, who is the person of the greatest taqwa? They said it was Imam Abu Hanifa. And this is why when Imam Abu Hanifa gave his fatwas, he didn't take them lightly. He feared Allah. Ja'far ibn Rabi says, I stayed with Imam Abu Hanifa for 5 years. And every time he was asked a question, he would sweat like a river. He had an entire shura of 40 of his greatest students. And they would sometimes deliberate on one masla for an entire month. And his students mentioned that sometimes we couldn't reach a conclusion. And Imam Abu Hanifa would stand up and he would say, maybe it's because of my own sins that we can't reach a conclusion. And he would do wudu, he would pray 2 rakats, and he would cry in front of Allah, and he would do tawbah. And when Fudayl ibn Ayaz heard this, who was Fudayl ibn Ayaz? Fudayl ibn Ayaz was known as Abidul Haramain, the worshipper of the 2 harams, because they say that there was not a place in the 2 haram where his tears had not fallen out of the fear of Allah. And he was a student of Imam Abu Hanifa. And when he heard this, he began to cry. And he said, the truth is that the likes of Imam Abu Hanifa don't have many sins to do tawbah from. And wallahi, this is why I am more comfortable with the mistakes of the Salaf than the ijtihad of my contemporaries. Because of their taqwa. They feared Allah.
إن أردتم أن تكونوا شامة بين الورى فاقتفوا آثار جيل للمعالي سطرا جيل زيد وأسيد ومعاذ والبراء